Hello and welcome to Podtoid. I'm CJ.
I'm Dan.
I'm Charlotte.
I'm Occams.
And this is episode 463. What? Wait, no language other than English this time, Occams?
Not this week.
Not this week? Okay. Thank you for joining us today. We have a good show planned for you. We're going to be taking a look at some Ring Fit Adventure, some Dragon Quest Tact, and Occams is going to help us get into the Halloween spirit as well. Speaking of Occams, welcome back. How was your week off?
That was fine. It was fine. I'm glad to be here.
Good. I like to hear that. Before we get talking about games, I just wanted to kick the show off today with real quick with a new installment of Crap Criminals.
You've been hit by a crap criminal.
And for this story, we're going to be heading to my home state of California, where I'm going to get this wrong. Fontrell Baines came up with a get-rich scheme that couldn't possibly lose. So as you know, millions of Americans are out of work right now. And with so many people seeking government assistance, now is the perfect time to try and fraud the U.S. government. And so that's what Mr. Baines did. He ended up defrauding the California Development Department, also known as the EDD, to the tune of $1.2 million spread across 93 different EDD cards. According to the police, Baines had these cards delivered to a wide variety of mailboxes that he had access to and managed to withdraw more than $700,000 in cash before he was caught. Now, if you're wondering how he got caught with such a brilliant plan, why, he did what any red-blooded American would do in his shoes. Mr. Baines took some of that ill-gotten funds and used them to cut a single and a music video called EDD, where he raps about ripping off the EDD. He goes by the stage name Nuke Bizzle, and he posted a video online back in September where it amassed more than 500,000 views. In the video, he is showing off EDD benefits envelopes and bank cards. There is a disclaimer in the video that says those are props, but I have to say, if you're not actually ripping off the unemployment office, it's a weird thing to brag about in a rap song. It'd be like me doing a song about stealing pens from my office, but then going and buying a bunch of Bics from the store instead of all of the pens I've actually stolen from my office. Anyways, when police found him, Baines had 8 EDD cards on him, only one of which had his name. They also found $50,000 in cash under his seat, which means that police station is going to get a new margarita maker and one of those massaging chairs from Brookstone. Baines is out on bail, but if convicted, he could face up to 22 years in prison. It's weird to me that people still brag about real crimes in rap songs.
Well, now I just want the rap song where CJ's rapping about stealing pens.
It's just me saying, yeah, I got my Bic over the beat from Tia and Tamara by Doja Cat.
There you go.
It's 5.5 minutes of that. Yeah.
You would have thought the guy would have learned from I think it was a Key and Peele sketch that was this exact same thing.
Probably where he got it from, honestly. I was thinking about the exact same thing as well.
It's so weird how many people, and not just like, putting in rap songs, but like how many people go on Facebook and brag about crimes they commit. How many people go on Twitter and show off all the shit they've stolen? It's just like, they can trace you, right? This isn't that difficult. This isn't a crime caper that takes the entire brain power of the police to solve. They just got to ask Twitter where you are, and they go arrest you. So I don't get it. I don't get it.
Also, it's hardly like, so I'm not glorifying crime here, but like, there's being a coke dealer and then there's defrauding the government. Like, one of those is sexy, one of those isn't.
Anyway, I thought that would just be a good way to start off the show, to let you know that if you're going to commit a crime, don't be a moron about it. This has been Crap Criminals.
You've been hit by a crap criminal.
All right, let's go ahead and get started on the show. And Occams, I want to get started with you.
Well, Spooky Encounters is a movie I watched. I was thinking, like, I watch my Halloween horror movies and I try to find new stuff and rewatch the classics. But the genre that I've kind of ignored a little bit was horror-themed kung fu movies. So I did some digging. And I came across a fairly nice little list of stuff. And one of the highest rated ones was called Spooky Encounters. It's from 1980. It stars Sammo Hung, who is a very famous martial arts actor, and he's known for being kind of a rotund fella who has some incredible athleticism to him. I wish Chris was here. He could probably rattle off 20 facts on the movie right now. But it was really, really well done. And they made, I think, 3 more after that. But I highly recommend it. There's also a Chinese ghost story. There's one called Magic Cop, which I haven't seen yet, but that's supposed to be pretty good. And I also watched the only Shaw Brothers Hammer horror film collaboration. Was it The Legend of the Seven Golden Vampires? Which was just as silly, misogynistic, and nihilistic as most Hammer horror films, and it made me very happy. And the great thing about most of these movies is they're all available on YouTube. Just random people have posted the full movies in surprisingly decent quality. So if you want something a little different for your Halloween movie watching season, check those out.
I'm finding a lot more of these older films, or not even super old films, but like, from the 80s, but nobody really remembers them, get uploaded to YouTube, and it's just like the rights holders don't care anymore. It's like, sure, go ahead, watch it. I have to ask, were these sequels to Spooky Encounters just like Spooky Encounters 2 and Spooky Encounters 3, or was it the much more superior Spookier Encounters and then Spookiest Encounters?
Sadly, they went for the numerical sequels.
Too fast, too spooky.
Yeah.
Okay. So those are all available on YouTube. Highly recommend watching it. Horror kung fu, not really a genre people tackle these days.
Yeah, sadly.
They need to bring it back. We need more kung fu movies in general.
It seems awfully inefficient to me. Like, how many baddies can you, like in horror baddies, can you adequately stop with kung fu? Usually you need at least some sort of melee weapon or a gun. I don't get it.
Well, you have a nunchuck and you just keep spinning it around. That's fairly effective.
You know what I'd like to see, just for the nonsensicalness of it? Fast zombies and kung fu. Like the fastest of zombies and no weapons. That would be pretty cool. Lots of death though.
Occams, remind me, Jim Cotta, are those zombies that attack him when he's on the pommel horse?
No, those are just kind of deranged villagers, like an Eastern European nightmare village.
So like Resident Evil 4 villains versus Resident Evil 1 villains.
Essentially, yeah, minus the whatever that thing was called, Pleiades or whatever those were.
Gotcha. All right, let's go ahead and move on to me real quickly. This past week, one of the titles I've been playing is Dragon Quest Tact. This is the upcoming mobile game from Square Enix that's basically Dragon Quest's take on Fire Emblem Heroes, but with a lot better graphics. It looks really good. It looks a lot better than the last Dragon Quest mobile game that we got over in the States, which was Dragon Quest of the Stars. And yes, I know that game was like 3 or 4 years old before it finally reached our shores. But basically, Dragon Quest Tact is a pretty standard tactical experience. Nothing too amazing about it, but it runs amazingly well on my Pixel 3a. The action is pretty comparable to Fire Emblem Heroes, though without that game's weapons triangle, which is the basis for the entire Fire Emblem series. Dragon Quest Tact is a gacha game, so it has everything that goes along with that. You'll be incredibly overpowered at the beginning when you do your first pull and get a S-ranked character. There's loads of loot to grab to upgrade your team. I think it's a perfectly fine mobile game. If you're looking for something that is above, I'd say, the bog standard. If you have played Tom Clancy's, I can't even remember the name of it, but it sucks. And if you've played that and want something a little bit better than that, Dragon Quest Tact is better. I'd say it's on par with what Nintendo gave us with Fire Emblem Heroes. But I gotta say, and I hate to belabor this point, I'd probably be more excited about it if Genshin Impact hadn't just come out and raise the bar for what we can anticipate and what we can expect from mobile games. I know there are a lot of phones that can't run Genshin Impact that'll be able to run this, and that's fine. That's how this is going to perhaps be a bit more successful with lower end phones than Genshin Impact. But that doesn't stop me from looking at it and going, "That's it," because like with a lot of mobile gacha games, it has a lot going on for it. There's a lot of stuff to do here. There's a lot of special quests, daily quests, story quests, et cetera. But it all just still feels like a mobile free-to-play game, and it's something I'm less inclined to play, as I've said before, as we're all just stuck at working from home. And it feels really feeble to to Genshin Impact, which I'm still playing on my phone, despite the fact that I'm not really loving the controls of it. Unfortunately, I can't bring my progress over to the PS4, so I don't want to start from scratch. But obviously, this game was in development for years, so of course it should release. But I think going forward, when I look at all of these big game developers like Square Enix and Koei Tecmo, who put out a lot of mobile games, I kind of think they just need to step up their game, because I kind of think they're being left in the dust by this developer that no one really has heard of unless you are really into the mobile scene, that is just dominating the planet right now with Genshin Impact. So this is just an early access a build of Dragon Quest Tact, although I will say from what I have played, it's pretty fully formed. I think they're just still translating some of the later game stuff. It does not come out until 2021, but it's something to look forward to if you need something to play on a break or something like that. The tactical gameplay is fun enough to make it a little bit more worthwhile. But mostly, I just want Square Enix to localize Dragon Quest Walk, because I feel like I would have a lot more fun with that.
The thing about Genshin Impact is it has me worried now about how many major Western publishers, like EA, for example, are staring at that and they're salivating at the thought of it.
Yeah, but that would
worried about the consequences.
I'm not too worried about that, because maybe I wonder if I even have this statistic right, but I think that Genshin Impact was like a $50 million to $100 million game. Like it costs an incredibly large amount of money to make.
It looks like a AAA game. It looks incredible.
Yeah. So. But of course, it also has already brought in $100 million worldwide. There's been so many conversations about if other developers should go this way. I know that Reset Era had a topic this week that was, should Breath of the Wild 2 go free to play?
That's exactly what I'm referencing.
And I'm just like,
threads.
Yeah. That to me is a bit of an overblown reaction to its success. There are a lot of mobile games that are successful that don't immediately get every single fucking developer on the planet trying to chase it. So
I don't think it'll happen anytime soon, but I think like once consoles go fully digital, probably the later generations.
Yeah.
I do see stuff like FIFA, for example. I could see EA being like, for now they're going to keep putting out FIFA because they can get away with selling it for $70 a pop. But I do feel like there's going to be a point where they just go, let's just make it free to play and put in our card monetization nonsense and just make that the gimmick that makes us money. At some point, anyways.
I mean, EA already has a free-to-play FIFA game on mobile.
Oh, really? Well, damn,
yeah.
There you go.
They also have free-to-play Madden game on mobile.
They're already on this.
So they're already doing it, but it's just that those aren't nearly as popular as the mainline console thing. It's the same thing with like the free-to-play Injustice or Mortal Kombat games that NetherRealm inexplicably just keeps updating with new content. So clearly they must be bringing in some sort of money for them. But I'd be interested to see what would be the first franchise, and part of me thinks it's going to be Final Fantasy, of anything, that follows in the Genshin Impact footsteps. To see
anything with a big roster will do wonders, probably. Here's hoping, not Pokemon. I'd rather not.
No, we still have that awful Pokemon MOBA to look forward to.
I can't wait.
Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and move on to talking about one of my favorite games from last year, Charlotte. You've been playing some Ring Fit Adventure.
Yeah, I've been playing Ring Fit Adventure, and I am loving it. So maybe start with the first day that I played it. I was very frustrated the first day that I played it because I am basically the analog to, as I described it to my friend, the grandma who picks up the Wii Fit and doesn't know how to use a Wii and gets incredibly frustrated because I borrowed my boyfriend's Switch. I don't have a Switch still. And I was just using it for Ring Fit. And it was a big hassle getting it to work how I wanted it to, with, strapping one of the Joy-Con. Oh my God, onto my leg, and then getting the ring all set up properly. But once I had it, it's been fantastic. And I just love the fact that you really feel like you're getting a good workout, but if you pitch it properly and control the difficulty levels properly, it's a really intense workout, but you're not injuring yourself or feeling like you're pushing yourself too far, which I absolutely love. And also the fact that it really exercises every part of your body if you go to the trouble of sort of making yourself do all the different muscle groups. So I'm getting an exercise in for my core, which before I've never done. Most of my exercises in the past at the gym were cardio related, and when I did muscle stuff, I'd do my arms and my legs, but I wouldn't think about my stomach or my back muscles whatsoever. So that's fantastic. I think the thing that I've been most impressed about, though, is its attitude towards exercising as a whole, because I've been thinking about what it was like when I did Wii Fit 10 years ago, because I did a lot of Wii Fit, and that felt a lot more focused on burning calories. If you go to Ring Fit and want to burn calories, you're kind of going about it the wrong way, because you don't burn as many calories as you would going on a cross trainer for an hour. But it really exercises all of your muscle groups and makes you feel like you're toning your arms and you're toning your leg muscles. And it's less about, losing weight or like burning energy. It's more about thinking about what parts of your body you're exercising. And I feel like that's really important for people like me. I've had problems with I've not had eating disorders, but I've definitely had disordered eating and a very, on both ends of the spectrum, unhealthy view of exercising. Like about 2 years ago, I was going to the gym every day and I was obsessed with keeping my weight down. Like the idea of gaining weight was terrifying to me. And I've gone the other way where I've just done absolutely no exercise whatsoever and thought, well, exercise is for people who are good at exercise and I'm not good at exercise. Ring Fit goes to the effort of saying, this is a long-term exercise program. Don't do this game for 2 hours a day, because not only are you going to injure yourself, but you're going to be doing the exercises wrong if you get tired. And also it says, don't push yourself, don't stretch beyond your means. And I find that all is really, really positive, because that was my anxiety going into this game, that it would be really for sort of quote unquote workout freaks and they would really push me to do stuff I wasn't comfortable with. And that's not the case whatsoever. So yeah, I'm really, really happy with it. The only thing now is, because it is really more of a muscle workout and not really a cardio workout, I'm considering whether I should get Just Dance as well and alternate, because I've heard people do that and that sounds like a really good idea. But also I have the issue of I'm on the first floor of an apartment building. So I've bought a gym mat, and with the Ring Fit, you can also switch it to do silent exercises. And there's a couple that you can't really do silently. And for whatever reason, like, for example, the mountain climbing move, I can't do that anyway because it hurts my knees. So I just avoid that move altogether, but it does make you bang on the floor a bit. But if you switch on the silent setting so that you sort of squat instead of actually running on the spot, that's perfect. I feel like even without the gym mat, I wouldn't be making that much noise. Probably it makes less noise than when I just walk about the apartment without a mat. So that's really good. The only thing with Just Dance is I'm imagining that's going to make more noise. So I'm sort of like weighing up whether to get Just Dance or not. But it's really getting me to think more about exercising during what's looking to be potentially another partial lockdown. And exercise is good for the brain. So and good for, feeling good and not feeling claustrophobic from being stuck inside your apartment. So I feel like it was definitely worth the money, and it's definitely worth the time that I'm putting into it.
In regards to Just Dance, I think you would be okay getting that because it's more of upper body. Like you do move your legs side to side, you do step forward, step back, but a lot of the movement is based on getting the Joy-Con to match the movement on the screen, because that's the only thing you're holding, or your phone. I think you could do it with your phone now as well. So it probably wouldn't be as noisy as you might think it is. I'm on the second floor of an apartment, but there's nobody below me, so I'm fine just running in place because, who's going to complain? But you are right to saying that exercise is healthy for the brain. And when this whole COVID thing started, I told myself this is going to be the perfect opportunity for me to get back into Ring Fit Adventure, because I did it last year for 2 months when I did the review, and then for some time after. And then I just dropped off because I am incredibly lazy. And so I thought, okay, well, this is going to be now the perfect chance. This is when I'm going to do it. Starting in March, when everyone's working from home, I'm going to do this for an hour a day, etc. And I'm hoping, knock on wood, to start this week. Now that I'm going to be on vacation for a week, because you are when you talk about that it's focusing on just getting you kind of used to the idea of exercising rather than pushing you to just go, 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 go. You are right. And I remember that being very refreshing when playing. For starters, compared to Wii Fit, it actually has guidance for you, whereas I never felt that game did. But in terms of like a gym, like it gives me the motivation that I would want from a gym, but without having to pay for a physical trainer, which is $150 a month or however much it costs. So it's, to me, the best video game workout I've gotten since what was that, EA Sports Active NFL Training Camp back for the Wii, where I lost I lost 40 pounds playing that. I was in the best shape of my life doing that. Then I moved down to West Hollywood, saw how thin all the guys were down there, and gained it all back. So I
played that on a recommendation from you, and my God, my arms hurt so badly.
Arms, legs, doing it. Yeah, that is.
And then I got lazy and stopped. So same boat.
I ended up breaking the resistance bands that came with it because they were cheap. So they lasted about 4 months with me.
Yeah, that's the thing that surprises me a bit about Ring Fit. Because people might know I'm a bit involved in the speedrunning community, and I do some volunteering for various events. And one of the big breakthroughs has been speedrunning Ring Fit. And there's one guy who does it, and it's absolutely like crazy what he manages to do. Like he makes it look effortless. And now that I've played the game, I know that speedrunning the Drago fights is no joke. Like that is intense. But yeah, like when I was watching this, I was thinking, isn't the ring going to break? And I've heard stories of it warping over use, but there is no way that thing is snapping, not unless you've got a third party knockoff, because it's really, takes some punches, takes some strain. Yeah.
It looks a lot flimsier than it actually is. Because I had that exact same thought, like, I'm gonna break this, as if I'm just so strong. I'm basically Hercules. Yes, I'm gonna break this. But yeah, no, it survives.
Yeah, just one last thing I want to say about Ring Fit, because I might not have stressed this enough when I was talking about it, but so I don't know what it was like in other countries, but in the UK, when you were doing sport at school, like in PE, it was very much, if you were bad at it, you were encouraged not to try, and you were sort of shoved off into another group where they didn't encourage you to take part in after school activities whatsoever. And I built up a really negative, sort of embarrassed opinion about sport, and it's just, it's just not helpful, like it's such a life improving thing to do, to just do a little bit of sport, even if it's go out and go for a walk. And Ring Fit is just so encouraging and so positive, and telling you not to push yourself and that it's okay to have limits, and things like that are really important, because even when I was going to the gym, I did occasionally get people looking at me like almost as if, why are you here? And that's not going to be the case at every gym. I don't want to discourage people from going to the gym if it's safe for you to do so. But I feel like for some people who need to just build up their confidence to go to a gym, something like Ring Fit will be very, very useful, because a lot of us have grown up with negative attitudes towards sport if we weren't very good at it.
When I was growing up, you were encouraged to stick it out, no matter how good or bad you were at the sport of your choice. But you knew you were bad depending on where they put you on the team. So like I played basketball for like 11 years and I sucked. I was awful. But they obviously couldn't cut me from the team because that would hurt my self-esteem. So what they did was they put me on the B team, who would play during the second quarter of every game. And what they did was that the first quarter of basketball, all the points would count. The second quarter of basketball, whichever team scored the most points in that quarter would get 2 points added on to their first quarter points. And then the third and fourth quarters would go back to counting full. So like the bad players would play in the second quarter to feel like they're helping their team. But in the end, it only amounted to 2 points on the final score. It took me a while to realize how condescending that was.
Oh, man.
See, I'm lucky when my dad just realized that I was a lost cause very early on.
You are listening to Podtoid.
All right, that is it for games, which means it is time for the news.
This is the news.
And it was kind of a slow week for news, but there are two major stories to talk about. And first up, we're going to start with Sony. This week, Sony announced some changes are coming to its hardware and software as we creep closer to a new generation. First of all, you probably saw it this week when Sony issued the PlayStation 4 8.0 system update. It introduced a new chat reporting feature. After some confusion on what this was, the head of Sony's global consumer experience for PlayStation put out a blog explaining how this feature works. And basically, Sony is going to make it easier for players to report verbal harassment and abuse. And because there will be crossplay between the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5, it needed to be added to the PlayStation 4 with this update as we, inch closer to the PlayStation 5's inevitable launch. So what this new feature does is it allows you to report somebody who's being a shithead online. Sony isn't recording the matches themselves, but the system is saving the last 5 minutes of voice chat for you to report somebody on. Most importantly, players cannot opt out of recording. So if you use voice chat in a game, your ass can be recorded and, you can be reported if you're being an ass. Also, Sony announced this week that it is cutting off access to PSP, PlayStation Vita, and PlayStation 3 games on its online PlayStation Store. Sometime this week, access is going to be revoked on the PlayStation's desktop website, and mobile site access will get rid of all of those old games by or on October 28th. However, unlike WiiWare, you still will be able to buy and download games for these systems. You'll just have to do it on the storefronts you access from the original hardware themselves. So if you want to buy a Vita or a PSP game, you're going to have to go onto your Vita to do so. This is a bummer for me because I do occasionally still buy a PSP title on my Vita. But Charlotte, you wrote a very popular article on our website about the PlayStation 3, still one of our most popular articles. You have any thoughts on this change?
Okay, so the first time I realized that something major had happened was because my trophy number changed. I was like, what the fuck? Why do I have 247? I had 14 before. What the fuck is this?
Oh my God.
Because I do compare with my friends because I'm friends with some of the Cane and Rinse people and their numbers are ridiculous. So yeah, that's the thing that's stuck out to me. And to be totally honest, I hadn't heard about the PS3 Vita PSP change. So
Okay.
as long as you can buy them within the original hardware, it doesn't really change a lot for me because I don't tend to buy the games online. And as long as I don't lose access to the stuff I've bought before, I think I'm okay with that. It is really sad, like when that gets completely cut off at some point, I'm going to be extremely sad because I still we had to unplug the PS3 yesterday because we overloaded a power strip.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not getting as much use as it used to, but the PS3 it's still in regular circulation in our household, and my PS TV is right next to our TV as well. So those are still going to get plenty of use. And once those games go, I'm going to be really sad because the thing is, like, past consoles like the PS2 and that era and beforehand, there wasn't really digital games wasn't a thing. At least it wasn't as far as I'm aware in the West.
Yeah.
So we can easily archive that stuff. Like we've still got the physical copies of everything. We can just put it in whenever we feel like it. But with like the PS3, there's a risk we're going to lose access to data at some point, and that's a bit of a scary thought. A lot of stuff has been remastered, and then I'm coming more around to the dark side of thinking if there's a remaster for it, then I'd happily just play the remaster. I'm replaying Final Fantasy X as the remaster at the moment because I just kind of don't want to play it on the PS2 for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But if it's something that was unique to the PS3 and you can't get it on anything else, things like I don't believe Tokyo Jungle, for example, is a PS3 game that I don't think. Maybe it's on PS Now, I don't know. But those kinds of games that only came out for that generation and never saw a remaster, the idea that data could go missing at some point is kind of terrifying, but it sounds as if that connection is still there, so that's a relief. That's a relief.
I feel like once things do wind down to the point of where they shut down the stores altogether, all talks of ethics go out the door. Mod your console. Simple as
Mod
that.
and download.
That's my belief. If the company itself has officially stopped supporting that system, just mod it. It's risky with the Slim though. He'll probably break it.
I will say with the whole reporting people feature, I hope to God that you can like save the 5 minutes of recording and then do it after your match, because the last thing I need is to someone being a piece of garbage to me on Overwatch, and so I have to stop and report them, at which point they yell at me for not contributing even more. So hopefully that's how it works, that I can wait until after the match is over and then report someone for being a shithead. Because if I'm going to run into shitheads anywhere in online gaming, it's definitely going to be in Overwatch.
Like, I had a bit of a terrifying moment with this last week because FIFA 21, I was under the impression that the username I picked would be what showed in the match and not my actual PlayStation username. And then I realized in the middle of a match where I was not doing very well and was wide open for trolling that my actual PlayStation name was showing. And I went into a complete panic because I don't usually play games online. Like, I have a PS Plus subscription, but I use it for the free games, not for the online play. And I was like for my boyfriend who plays Counter-Strike all the time and games like that, he was wondering why I was so scared. But like, because also I'm a woman and that adds an extra dimension to the abuse that I might get, I was like, oh crap. Because also when I played Resident Evil 5 on the PS3 online, that is a very niche community and they get very mad at you and they send messages. So I was like, oh shit, what's going to come? And I instantly went into my thing after the match and turned off messages from people I don't know, because I just don't want to get, this is something different actually, isn't it? It's like the voice chat, not the message chat. Or is it a similar thing?
This is voice chat, but
right.
I did the same thing. After about the third message I got sent from a random teammate, I'm just like, why is this a feature? More importantly, why is this automatically on?
Yeah.
What the hell? If I want to get yelled at, I'll go back to work.
I don't play games online with people, so I'm not too worried about it. It's been interesting to see if they have the last 5 minutes. Imagine there'll be quite a few. You can save it on your computer or your system and then download it to a computer. I bet there'll be some really good like dubstep. Is that still a thing? I don't know, like remixes of people calling people names. So that's kind of my thought.
TikTok's gonna blow up with those things.
Yeah.
All right, our second story comes to us from Square Enix and its troubled Marvel's Avengers game. It was announced this week the title would see delays of its big upcoming content. Mainly the Kate Bishop Hawkeye update has been delayed, and the next-gen versions will now not launch until 2021. Crystal Dynamics did do a quality of life update this week, and it was revealed that the game was the best-selling title in North America for September. No real surprise there. But the story around the game has been how few people are still playing it. Its numbers seem to be dropping by the week. Dan, you have experience with big, expensive games as a service titles. How are things looking for Avengers to you?
Not good.
Yeah.
I've seen the term Anthem 2.0 thrown around a lot on various places such as Reset Era and stuff like that. I know the PC numbers on Steam dropped to like something like 1,000 to the point where like matching up with people just wasn't happening on the PC side of things. I can't say the same about the PS4 version. Like when I've gone on to do my dailies, I've still matched up just fine. But yeah, like the lack of content is definitely a thing. It's already very bare bones as is. Throw that in with a delay and a lack of characters for the foreseeable future. It ain't helping.
Yeah. But stuff like No Man's Sky and Fallout 76 have shown us that it can get turned around.
Definitely, yeah.
But neither of those titles launched during a pandemic.
Yeah. And it all depends on whether Square Enix actually give enough of a shit. Like, if they feel like they've made their money already, I question if they'll really even care all that much about the player base or whatever. They'll just pump out the DLC they need to pump out and then just get to work on the next game. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I don't know if there's a long-term plan for this or if they're already possibly in pre-development on a sequel or what the deal is. I think that's what it'll boil down to. Like, if they already have plans to pump out another Avengers game, then no, this thing's gonna die. It's gonna fall off a cliff. But
Well,
if they actually are committing to it, and they're like, yeah, we have a 5 to 10 year plan with this game, maybe they turn around.
Well, I mean, there have been hints of a lot more characters coming.
Yeah, there's been tons of data mine characters and stuff. So that's where I think there's hope in the future, potentially, of turning it around. So,
but I can't imagine that they would just go straight to working on a sequel right now, unless
it's
this
Avengers, man. Like, that's the thing. Like, I feel like anyone that has the Marvel IP right now, they're thinking like a trailer park dude who won the lottery. They're not thinking about investing or anything like that. They're thinking about just spending. And I feel like Square Enix are like, we gotta get another Avengers game out there. if they have the license to do Avengers games, they're gonna do Avengers games.
Maybe in the next one, Tony Stark's head won't be so small compared to his suit.
Maybe. But yeah, that's what I think is the debate right now. If there is plans already for a sequel, I don't think there's a lot of hope in really any kind of commitment to this game. But if there isn't, and they really are trying to make this a long-term thing of like releasing this on next-gen consoles, adding all those characters and adding new story content, stuff like that, then yeah, there's probably hope then to turn it around. But right now, it's pretty rough.
I think going forward, what they need to do is to do what Bethesda did with Fallout 76, and even though the game was broken for a good portion of its life, don't stop talking about it, because I think that's like the big difference between Fallout 76 and Anthem. When was the last time EA said anything on Anthem?
The last thing I heard about Anthem was the creative director leaving. So,
and that's always a good sign. I think right now the best thing to come out of this is that it has exposed Kamala Khan to an even larger audience and did it in a right way, because everyone seems to agree that she's one of the best people to play as in the game. She's the lead of the narrative.
She's the highlight of that entire story.
Yeah. So. If nothing else, we at least got that from this game. That should hopefully bode well for her upcoming Disney Plus series.
You are listening to Podtoid.
All right, we are just about out of time, but before we go, Occams, do we have a community shout out this week?
Yeah, I want to give a shout out everyone who posted the Cattoid pictures. Everybody sharing their pets, kind of a universal happy fun time thing. So shout out to everyone who shared their pictures of their beautiful cats. So thank you for that.
All right, that is it for this episode of Podtoid. On behalf of Charlotte, Dan, Occams, and myself, thank you for listening. And don't forget to subscribe on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Podbean, or the Destructoid YouTube channel.